everybody. This is my friend Vanya. Uh, I met him about 3 years ago when Lera and I returned from our time in the States. He was studying at the Marine Academy in Odessa. He's from Belgrade, right?
Yes, sir.
Which is near Odessa. So what, 1 hour away?
Yeah, 70
So,
kilometers.
I've
Yeah,
actually
50,
never been
50
there yet.
miles.
Supposed to visit there because there's a winery and a castle, but I
Right.
still haven't gone. But he was coming to the youth group at the church on Tuesday evenings. In Ukraine, when they say youth, it can go into adulthood, like up to
Uh-huh.
even 30 years old, I think. It's a little bit different in the States. Youth is usually like teenagers. At the time, he was dating an unbeliever girl. He was missionary dating.
All right.
Yeah, no, but he was conversing with her. She was an atheist and just had a lot of, was really seeking for answers. So we had a lot of discussions at that time. I tried to help him kind of navigate some of those questions. So we just became friends from there. He's helped us with some of our outreaches at English Up and at Elevate. So he's been a great blessing for our life. He's also the youth leader at his church
Wonderful.
in Belgrade, and he's in Odessa from time to time. And also, he just got back from the military. He got drafted, and in Ukraine, you can pay money to not go, which is essentially a bribe. And he didn't think God wanted him to do that. So he just got back this week. Just completed. It was 1 year.
Yes,
And did you ever jump out of a plane?
I did.
You did. You
Well,
did
it,
it.
it was it wasn't the plane, but the helicopter.
You jumped out of a helicopter,
Yes, sir.
and you survived.
Well, as you can see,
Uh-huh. Okay. How was that?
I was. It was scary, like really scary, and all the helicopter was listening to Christian hymns while I was in there because it was just shocking. And when I was going to the helicopter, he said, everyone who gets on the helicopter gets out. So at that moment, I realized I didn't have a way back.
You had no
So,
choice.
so,
Uh-huh.
so did everyone else. Yeah, it
The
was.
point of no return. Well, everybody, I wanted to introduce you to Vanya and asked him to share how our ministry has blessed his life or impacted his life. And just so you know, this is a paid promotion.
Right.
Yeah. You did get the check, right?
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
No.
I don't know about the States, but when we're talking about Ukraine, I wish I saw many more people that take part in the ministries, and the result was a lack of, of work done here in Ukraine, as far as I can see, and I really appreciate the people who are willing to spread the gospel here in Ukraine. And Americans are appreciated by the Ukrainians. And I don't only mean the believers, but unbelievers as well. They just think that Americans are some kind of
They
just
kind of,
out of this world
they're
people.
like put them kind of on a pedestal or something.
Yeah, a little bit,
I don't
especially.
really like that
Uh,
myself, but yeah.
well,
Like
that
they're
that
Americans,
can
and it's like,
be used.
well, yeah, they are. I mean, there's some great American people, but
People who
someone
want
who
to
has
study the
American eyes
language
is not necessarily a good thing.
look. Yeah, so it's not hard for Americans um, to um, to find the people to talk to in Ukraine, because Ukrainians, there are many Ukrainians who want to study the language, and they understand that it's easier to study it with native speakers.
Mhm.
Um, and so that's a good opportunity to be able to spread the gospel as well.
Yeah, so it's
Uh,
not necessarily good that they put Americans on a pedestal, but God can use it we because it makes it easy for us to build relationships.
So the pastor said, there is this guy, and because I always spend plenty of time talking to the pastor, and he didn't always had time for me because I was just looking for every opportunity. And he said, "Hey, there is this guy, and he is good in apologetics. Why don't you talk to him also?" Yeah, as I'm organizing summer camps for kids in my church, Jacobi's camps were a good way for me to study how to do it better. So I was helping Jacoby, but I was studying at the same time, and it was a good opportunity for me to study these things and to be able to um, use them.
Well, it would be great if some of you guys came and met Vanya in person and met some of our other friends here in Ukraine in person. And like I said, it's um, being American goes a long way here and opens a lot of doors for ministry. So please pray about that if God would put it on your heart to come.
Like the people who Jacoby is bringing here to Ukraine.
Yeah.
I usually call people, and
That means
uh,
whoever's listening to this video is cool
oh
automatically.
yeah, that's right. Sorry. I've
So
met
they're
healthy
qualified.
it. They have experience that they share, and it is impacting my personal life. Was impacted by Matt, who Jacoby brought here, by healthy it, by the way he lives and what he told me. 100%, my life was impacted by these people,
Hmm.
and
And Nick,
and Nick,
yeah.
and I still text with some of them, and it's great.
Every one of the Americans who ever came and joined us for a mission trip are still in touch with the friends that they made here pretty regularly.
Some things are just obviously different in Ukrainian and American culture. Many people in Ukraine are just um, not feeling open to share some things they maybe would like to share because of the culture, because um, people are just different here. They are, when people are just is it called groovy?
Groovy? I don't know what
No,
you're trying to get at.
rude, rough.
Rude? Like, you mean Ukrainians are straightforward? Is that what you're saying?
Straightforward is when you're just saying whatever you think. That's
Yeah, you're
often
kind of
what you
speaking
say.
straight.
No,
Ukrainians
it's
usually tend
not.
to be
No, no,
more
no.
straightforward than Americans.
Well, maybe. Well, I just think that Ukrainians
They are also less open.
maybe harsh. Harsh is the right word.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Less open. There is this difference in the culture, and it's a good difference. And Americans are more open. They are funny. They are not just being rude to anyone. I know that sometimes everyone is rude, but I think that just naturally Americans are just better people than we are here. That's my personal opinion. I haven't been to some maybe bad districts in big cities of the US, but
I would say there's pros and cons.
and maybe that's because I'm missionaries. I don't know.
Well,
But
also, yeah,
anyway,
you should realize when people come on a missionary trip, they're usually on their best behavior. But
oh,
but yeah, and
okay.
there's good things Americans have that Ukrainians don't, and there's weaknesses Americans have that are different for Ukrainians. So yeah, there's some trade-offs, I guess. But so how can people pray for you? By the way, uh, Vanya is a keyboardist. He wants to be the next Elton John,
That's my little secret that you
or maybe
just
then
shared.
I shared it, or maybe it's the next Keith Green. Do you know who Keith Green is?
No.
Oh, he was a famous Christian pianist in the 70s. Some great
Well,
songs.
that's not an apologetic question. I'm not supposed to know it. Right.
Right. So how can people pray for you?
Really thinking deeply about my future, but I'm planning on entering a seminary and to keep working in my church. I have a friend, and we are both leading a youth group. And I would ask to to pray about the youth group because there are some issues in there. It's all right that there are issues, but we want to be praying about it also, of course. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Vanya.